Hi everyone, it's Nina Goradia. I'm a somatic experiencing practitioner on the non-dual path. I'm going to continue this series about the intersection of somatic experiencing and non-duality as it pertains to the nervous system. If you haven't already, please watch the previous video. I'll link it here. And if you are new to this infographic and you would like the full theory around it, I'll link this video here. We're going to continue to expand on the previous video where I talk about how the act of doing, meaning making, judging, overfunctioning, reacting, all of these things increase the activation on our nervous systems, increase the stress level on top of the event that was stressful. And so when we do that, we can get pushed into freeze and then we relax. Our bodies relax out of freeze a little bit, and then we can hit the fight or flight energy that's underneath it. And we can feel a great deal of adrenaline that we didn't even know was there because freeze feels like it's immobilizing, we're dissociated, we're just trying to survive, we feel kind of numbed out. And so we then feel this huge amount of energy just from relaxing. And we might be afraid of that, react, judge, try to fix it. But that doing energy increases activation and then takes us right back into freeze. So we can be bouncing between these two. So I want to talk about different things in life practically that can impact this experience in your life. So think about whatever things increase stimulation in your life. If you're already stressed, that can be exacerbating some of this activation, taking you into freeze. So think about caffeine usage, chocolate, sugar. Think about habitual use of your phone, constant texting or watching the news, things that are giving you a little hit of adrenaline, maybe watching a horror movie or watching scary news articles and videos, things that you might be doing that are not really in your best interest if you're already in a heightened state, but there is a payoff that's often happening. And that payoff is that, well, if I go into freeze, then I can just kind of numb out and I don't have to feel this intensity of emotion. Believe me, the body is still carrying that intensity, but you're just disconnected from it. So you're not experiencing it directly, but your body is experiencing it and taking the hit. So if I keep numbing out, and I'm just trying to get through my life while not really living fully, not really living from my direct experience, that can be a hidden incentive of why we're engaging in these behaviors. We just don't feel like we have enough capacity or bandwidth to let go because then I'm going to have to feel all this stuff, and that's scary. I need to wait till I've gotten a full night of sleep and I have a friend maybe with me, or I work with a practitioner that can help me do it because it just doesn't feel like I have enough space or capacity on my own. And the reason we do this is when I'm in my mind, when I'm dissociated in my intellect, there's no physical pain there. There is a lot of suffering. Suffering is from believing my thoughts, focusing on my thoughts, giving them power. But there's no physical pain with that in the mind itself. But the body is still carrying that pain. It's just not getting acknowledged, but the soma is on fire, just as it was before. We're just so overwhelmed. We're like, I'm just not going to look at the fire. I'm just not going to put it out. And it's just raging. And so we want to say, okay, I got to put out that fire one day. How am I going to do that? And it's scary. People can be in freeze for years where you're still able to get by, but you're not really living. You want to get help, of course, if it's this bad, work with a practitioner, get some help. But as you're relaxing muscles, and you can just do 10% at a time. I have a video on how to come out of freeze here you can look at. And then you want to feel what's underneath it. So you want to do this in a careful, titrated way. But the reason I've made this video is to add on this awareness of how is your lifestyle contributing to the perpetuation of this pattern. Because you can do SE forever and you can just keep releasing and releasing, but if you still have a lifestyle of overfunctioning or stimulating, you're going to have to keep doing it over and over again because your life continues to be stressful, and then the way you handle the stress, and the body just has to keep holding all this stuff until it breaks down in some way, emotionally or physically. So I want you to be aware of this pattern and let me know if any of you can relate to this, if you recognize this. Sometimes we have this and we don't even see it consciously, but we're playing this out. Maybe you recognize this in others. The really tricky and sad part of this trap is that when we're in freeze, we can feel dissociated and hopeless. It can feel like I'm going to die and I'm just conserving energy. And that can make it hard for us to then do anything to help ourselves or even recognize what's going on or be able to rest enough where your body can recover. It can be hard to rest because rest means then I have to feel what's there. So if we don't do it on our own terms, then we're going to have to do it on life's terms. So, for example, if I'm not working on this a little bit at a time, something happens where my body seizes up in some way. I just can't go any further. And then something happens in life that just can feel like it breaks us. And then we're forced to let go. We can feel like our ego defenses are shattering. And I've seen a lot of people on the other end of this. And in hindsight, they say, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot lighter. Those can be hard ways to go through it. So if you're able to work on this on your own, you can hopefully prevent that. We don't have total control. We don't have a lot of control in life, but we can at least develop healthy habits where we can be more resilient and recover from the ups and downs and unknowns in life and be with the unknown, be with uncertainty. So I will stop here. In the next video, I'm going to focus a bit more on phone addiction because I have seen that cause people to stay here and to freeze. And other parts of their life can even fall away because we're getting this dopamine, this false sense of satisfaction from just being on the phone and scrolling. And I want to address that. So I hope you'll tune in for the next part of this series. Feel free to share your experiences below. Take care.